The river Ganges, text number 6, first canto, 19th chapter, text number 6. The river Ganges, by which the king sat to fast, carries the most auspicious water, which is mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord and tulsi leaves. Therefore, that water sanctifies the three worlds, inside and outside, and even sanctifies Lord Shiva and other demigods. Consequently, everyone who is destined to die must take shelter of this river. So, like we were discussing yesterday, Maharaja Parikshit, just after receiving the news of his death within 7 days, at once retired from family life and shifted himself to the sacred bank of the Yamuna River. Generally, it is said that the king took shelter on the bank of Ganges. Okay, so here it's in the purport. But according to Srila Jiva Goswami, the king took shelter on the bank of Yamuna. Srila Jiva Goswami's statement appears to be more accurate because of the geographical situation. Maharaj Parikshit resided in his capital Hastinapur, situated near present Delhi, and the river Yamuna flows down past the city. Naturally, the king would take shelter of the river Yamuna because she was flowing past his palace door. And as far as sanctity is concerned, the river Yamuna is more directly connected with Lord Krishna than the Ganges. The Lord sanctified the river Yamuna from the beginning of his transcendental pastimes in the world. While his father Vasudeva was crossing the Yamuna with the baby Lord Krishna for a safe place at Gokul on the other bank of the river from Mathura, the Lord fell down in the river, and by the dust of his lotus feet, the river at once became sanctified. It is especially mentioned herein that Lord Parikshit took shelter of that particular river, which is beautifully flowing, carrying the dust of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna mixed with tulsi leaves. Lord Krishna's lotus feet are always besmeared with the tulsi leaves, and thus, as soon as his lotus feet contact the water of Ganges and the Yamuna, the rivers become at once sanctified. The Lord, however, contacted the river Yamuna more than the Ganges. According to the Varaha Puran, as quoted by Sri Jiva Goswami, there is no difference between the water of Ganges and the Yamuna. But when the water of Ganges is sanctified 100 times, it's called Yamuna. Similarly, it is said in the scriptures that 1000 names of Vishnu are equal to one name of Ram, and 3 names of Lord Ram are equal to one name of Krishna. So again, it's a transcendental confusion. Now, Prabhupada is saying he took shelter of river Yamuna. He sat at the banks of river Yamuna. But Shukratal, as we know of, where we go to take darshan, that is at the banks of Ganges. So, I don't know. Of course, Prabhupada says Krishna used to have his pastimes in river Yamuna, obviously, but because his lotus feet are always besmeared with the tulsi leaves, because that's what it says in the shloka. But then again, even Vamandev, how Ganges came on earth is Vamandev, when he lifted his feet, his foot, and it was going through the covering of the universe. So when his toe, big toe, it pierced through the covering of the universe, the water from the Karan ocean came, washing the lotus feet of Lord Vamandev. And then first Brahmaji collected that water in his Kamandalu, and then he let that Ganges go. So Ganges was in the upper planetary systems. And then because of Maharaj Bhagirath, she came down on earth. So even Ganges, when she came down from Karan ocean, so she also washed the lotus feet of Lord Vamandev, and there was tulsi leaves there also. So it's hard to say which river, but Prabhupada and Jiva Goswami saying it's Yamuna, Shloka says it's Ganges. We'll go with Prabhupada. Simple as that. It must be Yamuna. But Shukratal is at the bank of Ganges. So again, it's a confusion. Anyway, whichever river it was, we have to get on with the pastime, with the story. Text 7. इति व्यवच्छिद्य स पाण्डवेयः प्रायोपवेशं प्रतिविष्णुपद्यां ददौ मुकुन्दाङ्घ्रि मुकुन्द्रां ददौ मुकुन्दाङ्घ्रिम् अनन्यभावो मुनिव्रतो मुनि समस्तसङ्गः. Thus the king, the worthy descendant of the Pandavas, decided once and for all and sat on the Ganges bank to fast until death, and give himself up to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who alone is able to award liberation. So, freeing himself from all kinds of associations and attachments, he accepted the vows of a sage. So, here in the shloka it says Vishnu Padyam. So, and in the translation, word to word meaning, it says Vishnu Padya means on the bank of Ganges, emanating from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Purport. The water of the Ganges sanctifies all the three worlds, including the gods and the demigods, because it emanates from the lotus feet of personality of Godhead Vishnu. Lord Krishna is the fountainhead of the principle of Vishnu Tattva, and therefore shelter of his lotus feet can deliver one from all sins, including an offense committed by a king unto a Brahman. Maharaja Parikshit therefore decided to meditate upon the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, who is Mukunda, or the giver of liberation of all description. The banks of the Ganges or the Yamuna give one a chance to remember the Lord continuously. Maharaj Parikshit freed himself from all sorts of material association and meditated upon the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. And that is a way of liberation. To be free from all material associations means to cease completely from committing any further sins. To meditate upon the lotus feet of the Lord means to become free from the effects of all previous sins. The conditions of the material world are so made that one has to commit sins willingly or unwillingly. And the best example is Maharaj Parikshit himself, who was a recognized sinless, pious king. So he completely freed himself from all the previous sins and the committing any further sins. In fact, the only sin basically he had committed was putting the dead snake around Shamik Rishi's neck. But he also became a victim of an offense, even though he was ever unwilling to commit such a mistake. He was cursed also, but because he was a great devotee of the Lord, even such reverses of life became favorable. The principle is that one should not willingly commit any sin in his life and should constantly remember the lotus feet of the Lord without deviation. Only in such a mood will the Lord help the devotee make regular progress toward the path of liberation and thus attain the lotus feet of the Lord. So even Bhagavad Gita talks about it, that once one has completely stopped committing sins, then only he can take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Only in such a mood will the Lord help the devotee make regular progress toward the path of liberation, thus attain the lotus feet of the Lord. So it's not like these days, no, whenever if we go and preach to somebody, and if it's anybody, a businessman or a serviceman, then they say, oh, whatever karma he puja hai and whatever I'm doing, it's for Krishna only. This I'm a karma yogi and this and that. Although while doing their karma, they're committing all sorts of sins. But they say, oh, it's for Krishna only. Then just for namesake, they are saying that. Where here Krishna, or Prabhupada is clearly saying, and even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna clearly says One has to stop committing sins if he wants to make progress in bhakti. Even if they are accidental sins committed by the devotee, the Lord saves the surrendered soul from all sins, as confirmed in all scriptures. Swapadamoolam bhajata priyasya tyaktani abhavasya hari paresha vikarma yat cha utpatim kathanchit dhanoti sarvam hridi sannivishta. So Krishna himself, so let me read the translation of this verse. One who has thus given up all other engagements has taken full shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Hari. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is very dear to the Lord. Indeed, if such a surrendered soul accidentally commits some sinful activity, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated within everyone's heart, immediately takes away the reaction to such sin. So Krishna is all powerful. Even karma philosophy doesn't work when it comes to Krishna and his devotees. According to karma philosophy, any sin somebody commits, he has to take the reaction. But Krishna can still pardon his devotee. Or Krishna can also give more reactions to his devotee. That's a different story. Because it's all up to him. Text 8. Tatropajag mur bhuvanam punana mahanubhava munya sashishya prayena tirthabhi gamapadeshe swayam hi tirthani punanti santaha. At that time, all the great minds and thinkers, accompanied by the disciples and sages who could verily sanctify a place of pilgrimage, just by their presence, arrived there on the plea of making a pilgrim's journey. So at that time, King Parikshit sat down at the bank of Ganga or Yamuna, whatever it was. All the great minds and thinkers, accompanied by the disciples and sages, everybody came there. You can see in the picture also. And now then Shukdev Goswami has come and everybody is welcoming. On the plea of making a pilgrim's journey. Of course, this is the biggest pilgrimage because Srimad Bhagavatam is going to be spoken by the great sage Shukdev Goswami. There cannot be any better place of pilgrimage than this. When Maharaja Parikshit sat down on the bank of the Ganges, the news spread in all directions of the universe. Without WhatsApp, without Facebook, without smartphones, without computers, the news spread in all directions of the universe that Maharaja Parikshit has sat down on the bank of Ganges. And all the sages knew this is the time for Bhagavatam to be spoken. They came running. and just see, not even came running, they came right away because they didn't need any visa or any tickets, airplane tickets or anything, because Maharaj Parikshit had only 7 days to live. So they came right away. And the great-minded sages who could follow the importance of the occasion all arrived there on the plea of pilgrimage. Actually, they came to meet Maharaj Parikshit and not to take a bath of pilgrimage, because all of them were competent enough to sanctify the places of pilgrimage. Common men go to pilgrimage sites to get themselves purified of all sins. Thus, the places of pilgrimage become overburdened with the sins of others. But when such sages visit overburdened places of pilgrimage, they sanctify the place by their presence. So that's why it is said for a devotee, Tamara Hirde Sada Govinda Vishra. In your heart, Govinda, Krishna is always residing and taking rest. So when these sages, they even go to place of pilgrimage, they sanctify that place by their consciousness, by their bhakti, they sanctify their place. And not just the place, the people who are living there, their consciousness can get purified by taking one moment's association of these kind of sages. So places of pilgrimage, of course, it has its own vibrations, it has its own atmosphere, but the people living there, if they become polluted, if they become corrupt minded, then the place of pilgrimage also gets corrupted. So, but when these kind of sages visit those places, so they sanctify the consciousness, sanctify the minds of those people there. So that's why the place of pilgrimage gets sanctified by these sages. Therefore, the sages who came to meet Maharaj Parikshit were not very much interested in getting themselves purified like common men. But in the plea of taking a bath in that place, they came to meet Maharaj Parikshit because they could foresee that Srimad Bhagavatam would be spoken by Shukdev Goswami. All of them wanted to take advantage of the great occasion. So this is how important Srimad Bhagavatam is, how important Parikshit Maharaj, how important Shukdev Goswami is. Because Bhagavatam, I mean, earlier, yes, Shivji spoke to Parvati, but that time no sages could go, none of the sages could go there. Four Kumaras spoke to Narad Muni. Well, even that time, nobody went there. But now Shukdev Goswami, when he is starting to speak, and so everybody had the great opportunity now. We are going. It's just like last week when Radhanath Maharaj was there in Noida, and there's so many messages were flashing around, and everybody, yes, I have to go, we have to go to listen to hear Krishna Katha. That kind of eagerness is there. And that is what is required to listen, to really understand the meaning, the message of Bhagavatam. Text 9 and 10. Atrir Vasishtha Chevana Sharadvam Arishtir Nemir Bhrigurangirashcha Parasharo Gadi Suto Atharama Uttaya Tathya Indra Pramaded Mavahu Medhati Tir Deval Artishenu Bharadvaj Gotama Pipaladaha Maitreya Orva Kavasha Kumbhayonir Vapayano Bhagwan Naradascha. From different parts of the universe, there arrived great sages like Atri, Chavan, Sharadvan, Arishtnemi, Bhrigu, Vashisht, Parashar, Vishwamitra, Angira, Parashuram, Utatya, Indrapramad, Idmavahu, Medhaditi, Deval, Arishtisena, Bharadvaja, Gautam, Pipalada, Maitreya, Orva, Kavash, Kumbhayoni, Dvaipayan, and the great personality Narad. So Prabhupada gives a synopsis of everybody that we'll discuss tomorrow. But just imagine all these sages, of course, many more sages. But in the first list, look at the sages. Of course, many of them we don't even know. But like Chavan Rishi, Bhrigu, Vashisht Muni, Parashar Muni, Vishwamitra, Parashuram, Ved Vyasji themselves, Dvaipayan is there, no? Dvaipayan name is there. That is Ved Vyasji. Bharadvaj, Gautam, Maitreya, and Narad Muni himself. Can we imagine that? Can we even imagine a better assembly of audience like better than this? Ever? And just imagine who's going to speak. Shukdev Goswami. And he's son of Ved Vyas. And Ved Vyasji's guru, Naradji is there. So means he's a great grand disciple or grand disciple of Narad Muni. But they all will be sitting in the audience when Shukdev Goswami is going to start speaking. So amazing assembly of sages. And we, luckily, fortunately, We went to that place of Shukratal where this Bhagavatam was spoken. And that tree is still there under which Shukdev Goswami sat down and spoke Bhagavatam. And around that tree, imagine, all these sages were sitting down, listening to Bhagavatam. Amazing place and an amazing gathering of sages. So anyway, so I will stop here. See anybody with any questions or comments. So no questions, no comments. So we can stop here.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, just wondering, in fact, we went to Shukratal, we also went to Rishikesh, Haridwar. In fact, looking at the Ganges there, in fact, it's so mighty there. In fact, at Shukratal, how can be such a narrow stream? In fact, that also kind of puzzles me. So either it's a tributary, or maybe it's a tributary that kind of would have emanated from Yamuna Ji, isn't it? Because if you look at Rishikesh, if it is downstream, then it should be mighty here. It should be more, in fact, broad.
Actually, the place where we took bath, that was just a tributary. I mean, original Ganges was little far away. Of course,
Okay.
from 5,000 years ago, Ganges was there, but now she has changed her route a little bit. So original Ganges was little far away. It was 1 or 2 kilometers away. That's what they were saying.
Oh,
And this was a tributary. Yes.
okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. So we'll stop here. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri
Thank,
Prabhupada.
thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Jai
Thank
Srila
you, Prabhu.